Amen. Good morning, everyone. There was someone who once said, the first 5 years of my marriage, I did all the talking, my wife did all the listening. Second 5 years of my marriage, my wife did all the talking, I did all the listening. The third 5 years of our marriage, we both did all the talking, and the neighbors did all the listening. You know, in this week's parsha, we have a secret to Jewish marriages that goes back over 3,000 years. And it's called mikvah. At the end of this week's parsha, we learn about the laws of a mikvah. The laws of a mikvah is that a woman in a Jewish marriage, not only does she go to the mikvah before she gets married, but throughout all of her, throughout the marriage, every month, there are 2 weeks a month during the cycle, and then following 7 days, that husband and wife cannot be together, and then she goes to the mikvah after 12 or 13 days, and then the second half of the month, the husband and wife can be together. And then this cycle repeats itself the next month, over and over again. And what is the power of this halacha about this law of mikvah? And by the way, throughout Jewish history, you know, when they went to Masada, we found mikvahs up in Masada. Jews have always built mikvahs. Today, they're much more beautiful and elaborate. Some of them look like spas. Now, once you know, it says in Jewish law, you're allowed to sell a synagogue and even a Torah to build a mikvah. That's how important a mikvah is. What is it about a mikvah? So there are two types of marriages. There are marriages that are like fire, passionate, you know, full of vigor and vim. And then there are marriages that are water, very cool, very calm. The vigor, the fire has gone out. Now there's an advantage to both. When there's fire, it's good, but then there's also fireworks when they have a disagreement. But when things are like water, everything's calm, okay, no problem, but there's no more passion, there's no more fire. How do you create both? To have fire and water within the same marriage? Well, we all know fire and water don't go together. Where there's fire, there's no water. Where there's water, there's no fire. But how do you have both marriages simultaneously? So the Torah comes up with the idea of mikvah. For 2 weeks a month, you have fire. But the next 2 weeks, you have calm, you have space, you have boundaries, and you learn how to have a calm relationship without all the fire, but more focused on the connection and the communication. And what this does is it keeps the marriage fresh, it keeps it alive. It keeps it, you know, renewed each and every month. But there's more to a mikvah than that. A mikvah is for any cleansing that a person may need in any manner. And the way a mikvah works is you need 40 cubits of, which is about 150 gallons, of pure water that fell from heaven. If you took it from a bucket from the ocean and poured it in the mikvah, it's not kosher. It cannot have any human intervention. So like a Masada, they built a big pit and the rainwater fell in. When you have 150 gallons, that's a mikvah. So how do they build mikvahs today? If it has to be rainwater from heaven, untouched by human beings, every mikvah should be filthy. But if you go to beautiful mikvahs, they're gorgeous. They're like spas. What's the secret? So the secret is there's a halachic word called hashaka. Hashaka means a kiss. What does a kiss mean? That every mikvah you go to, the most beautiful modern mikvah, there's a separate pit that collects rainwater. And then there's a little pipe that connects the rainwater with the filtered water. And since the two waters are kissing, therefore it's connected to the rainwater. And even though you're going into this beautiful water that looks like a jacuzzi or a swimming pool, since it's kissing through this pipe, the collected rainwater that you don't even see when you go to the mikvah, it's in a separate pit exposed to the heaven. Therefore, through the law of kissing, it's a kosher mikvah. And the question is this kind of a loophole that you could go into a jacuzzi pool, but since it's kissing rainwater, how does this work? And the way it works is as follows. Moshe Rabbeinu, we're going to read all about him on Pesach. What is his name? Moshe. What does Moshe mean? He was drawn from the water. Why was our greatest leader called a person who was drawn from the water? And the answer is that every one of us was drawn from water. When we were in our mother's womb, we were submerged in water. And then we came into the world, and that's where all the challenges of life begin. And we're always trying to get back to the womb in the sense that we want that innocence, that beauty, that love, that enveloped feeling of God that we had in the womb. And that's man's struggle, getting back to that place of serenity, of peace, of connection to God. But we can't. Once we're out of the womb, we're out of the womb. There's no going back, as they say. And we have to deal with all the struggles of the world around us. But the Torah says the key is you got to kiss the pure water. You have to keep that connection to that heavenly water that's untainted by human interaction. Human hands never touched that water, never even collected it. And that's the law of the kiss. As long as you're kissing spirituality, yes, you're in the real world most of your day. but you come to daven, you put on your tefillin, you learn Torah, you do mitzvahs, you keep Shabbos, right? These are the kisses of Judaism, where you take the mundane physical world you live in, but you kiss the holiness and the purity and the spirituality that you had when you were learning Torah with the angel in your mother's womb. And that's the secret of how we get through life, through the mikveh, the cleansing waters, when we cleanse ourselves. And that's why a marriage needs mikveh, because in order to be in a happy marriage, you can't be waiting for validation from another person, because then you'll never be happy. You have to give love, not always be looking to take. And as long as you're connected to the pure waters, to God, you have the inner security and confidence and serenity of God's connection to you and the importance of your life, and you don't need to seek it from another human being. You get it from God. And that's the message of mikveh, the message of kissing. There's a story about a great Hasidic rabbi. His name is Rabbi Pamishlana, and he lived in Russia, and he would go down to the mikveh to bathe every morning, to immerse in water. Some people go every day, some people go before Shabbos, some people go before Yom Kippur to the mikveh. If you've never done it, it's a great experience to try. And it's a holy experience, and for men and for women, especially for women. So there was this steep hill that he would have to walk down to get to the river. A river or an ocean is a natural mikveh. And he would go down, and in the winter, it was very icy. And even young people, when they went down to the mikveh, they would slip or injure themselves. And he was an elderly man. He would go down the steep slope on the ice in the winter. He would never fall, going up or going down. And someone asked him, "How is it that you never slip?" And he wasn't being arrogant, he was just telling the truth. He said in Yiddish, "As mir ist zugebunden oben," if you are connected on high, fällt man nicht unten, you don't fall down below. Right? When you're attached on high, you don't fall down below. And that's really the essence of the mikveh. When you have your connection on high, your spiritual connection, then it saves you from falling down below to all the pitfalls and all the other areas of life that you could descend into. It keeps you spiritually in tune and uplifted and connected, and that is the way we get through life, through the secret and the message of mikveh.